Think back to the 90s and early 2000s when edutainment was still a thing. You're in about, say, 4th grade or so. It's your class's turn to use the computer lab. Chances are you've played at least one of the 10 games on this list. Now, I'm specifically judging games that are made to be educational, not just games that happen to be educational, like Ancient Mythology. While it's a good spark notes of ancient mythology, it doesn't really count as an educational game. Also, I'm judging these games based off what it taught, how effectively it taught it, and how it stands as a game. Finally, these games actually have to teach you something, so no Mario is missing. Thank goodness. The Munchers series had simple premises. You're a giant frog thing, and you had to eat other things that corresponds to a statement thing that tells you what things to eat. It tested your ability to think fast and solve math/language problems under pressure. The catch? Monsters come and try to muck you up. The early Apple versions were definitely more fast-paced and frantic, which could actually make a decent modern iPad game now that I think about it. The later versions utilized a lot more animation and colors, so they were a little slower. Trade-off? You had a few more monsters that could affect your game in more ways. Also, after a few rounds, they would also do book parodies with some of the characters.
Force is equal to the universal gravitational constant times the mass of the first object times the mass of the second object over the square of the distance between the centers of the two objects. What does that mean? Asked Dorothy.
It means I landed on my nose.
That was funnier when I was dumber. This was a really fun reading comprehension and sleuth game series. The idea of the Super Seeker franchise is to catch things which give you clues to find a key of some sort. Once you get all the clues, you drop a resource to find a key. This key lets you progress further through the game. I'm not entirely sure why you need a key to climb a ladder or why getting sucked into a shell sent you to the beach, but okay. The objective of these games is to collect stolen treasure to return to a treasure chest, but you get to keep some for some reason. Treasure Mountain, teaching kids to help people for selfish reasons for the age of 6. Special mention to Midnight Rescue, which plays Hollow the Mountain King and the Sorcerer's Apprentice throughout, and allows you to throw a custard pie in Dr. Wily's face. Also, take the same sleuthing ability and apply that to a game where the culprit is one of 5 cool-looking evil paint robots. The Magic School Bus was a great cartoon that made learning fun and interesting. Were the games just as good? Well, that depends. A learning experience can be much different depending on whether or not you prefer to personally engage with the material. So if you're more of a hands-on learner, Kid U with these games was bound to have a field day. Or field trip. Hey, it's the Magic School Bus. It wouldn't be complete without it. The Magic School Bus games were basic point and click. If something fascinated you, you inspected it, and the game would give you the knowledge about it, or make the object do something really silly. They were also full of small mini-games where they would metaphorically show you how something worked. In the liver minigame, for instance, you had to drop balls into the correct slot so the liver could distribute the proper chemicals to the body. In the space installment, some of the minigames amount to platforming sections. The controls are pretty wonky in them, but hey, you try moving in space.
We're going to do something with Miss Frizzle that you could never do in real life.
Number 7 is Reader Rabbit. While I was never as attached to these games despite their reputation, I still think it's very much worth asking. Does it do its job? Does it teach what it needs to teach? Does it do so in an entertaining way for the kids? Does it also do so in a way that makes this a glorious, so bad it's good thing for when these kids finally grow up? The answer to all of them is yes. Very much yes. As its name implies, Reader Rabbit was primarily focused on developing a child's reading comprehension skills. These games accomplish this through some simple, yet cute and clever minigames. For example, Reading Journey 2 had one at the end of each world where you had to build a bridge by filling it with logs labeled with the most logical word. I swear to Arceus that wasn't intentional.
Editor's note, I'm like 95% sure that was intentional.
Jumpstart was a carefully crafted series of minigames that served to educate. The earlier years, such as kindergarten or first grade, were pretty much negligible in terms of story or characters. But once it started hitting the later grades, that's when they actually started putting some effort into the storytelling.
Well, compared to most educational games.
Special mention goes to the 3rd grade edition. So, baby, honey, sweetie, let me get this straight. You sucked at history and wanted revenge for a bad grade. So you invented robots and time travel, sent them back in time to make your wrong answers right, and in turn made an orangutan the President of the United States.
Wow, is that a premonition? Like you call him with a comb over.
Not only that, you had to play Jumpstart 3rd grade 25 times to get the true ending. You'll be stuck in 3rd grade forever. Who wants that?
Damn, not here.
Now this was a really cool idea. Carmen Sandiego is a master thief, and your job is to track down her and her cronies. Throughout these games, you travel through time and space, finding clues to chase down vile criminals, ending with the capture of Carmen Sandiego.
Carmen is coming to collect the loot. You need to find and bust the crook before the handoff.
These games mostly exist to teach you geography and history, with the occasional dabble into grammar and math. What, was she gonna steal math from us?
Actually, that would be much appreciated.
Okay, I know I'm supposed to be talking about the computer games here, but I want to give special mention to the game shows. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, and where in time is Carmen Sandiego? No kid in the 90s would refuse being a contestant on one of these. Fighting a bunch of supervillains across time and space to the tune of that awesome theme song?
Tell me where in time is Carmen Sandiego. Stop her crime and solve this mystery. Tell me where in time is Carmen Sandiego. We're on the case and we're chasing her through history.
You have died of dysentery. Next number. Okay, I'll talk about it a little more.
Oregon Trail was a survival crafting game before every game nowadays decided to become that. You had to travel forwards all the while hunting for food and avoiding the things that usually killed people during that time, such as measles, snakebite, drowning, dysentery, typhoid, cholera, exhaustion, gunshots, boredom. Okay, I'm making that last one up, but I think this is a really cool way to educate kids about what people had to deal with in the olden days. Before the wonders and conveniences of modern technology, you lived in a land where anything and everything could kill you. Like Australia still.
Seriously, how do you live with this kind of wildlife?
This slot goes to all of the Humongous Entertainment games. Who is Humongous Entertainment, you ask? Well, they are the guys responsible for Putt Putt, Fatty Bear, Pajama Sam, Spy Fox, and Big Thinkers.
Mr. Roshan, fire the orbital nostalgia cannon.
Command received! Activating orbital nostalgia cannon! 3, 2, 1! Firing force!
Humongous Entertainment was responsible for all of those mildly terrifying googly-eyed adventure games you loved as a kid. Exploring undersea life with Freddy Fish, urban life with Fatty Bear, spy life with Spy Fox, anything spooky with Pajama Sam, or pretty much anything with Putt Putt. Putt Putt did everything. You were always guaranteed to have a good time with kooky characters and solving puzzles while learning trivia and reasoning skills. But really, a lot of what gave these games charm were the characters. So when 9-year-old me saw Freddy Fish appear in a secret area in Putt Putt Saves the Zoo, that was like the equivalent of an Avengers cameo. What makes Math Blasters so good is the mini-games were a lot more action-oriented than other educational games. Typing math answers quickly in order to get more shots, choosing the correct answer out of 4 answers while avoiding getting hit, making equations make sense, and the always iconic make your number fit between 2 numbers platforming sections, which are probably the ones that were the most fun. Many of these games were on time limits as well, which trained your ability to think quickly as well as your ability to learn. Story-wise, there's usually some villain you had to defeat like the Trash Alien or my personal favorite, the fiendish and just plain gross Gelator, the Brain Drainer. Hey, Queen Slug for a butt! You got a new suitor! It's a match made in a dumpster! The Clue Finder series centered around 4 adventuring kids. You had the fearless leader Joni, the techno genius Santiago, the book smart Leslie, and Owen, who's just there. Together, we journey with them through the Mayan rainforest to prevent a dragon from burning it down, some Egyptian ruins so that Set, god of violence and disorder, doesn't take over the world, a living island that's constantly trying to kill you, and an underground empire of flesh-eating plant people.
Clue Finders didn't screw around.
Like Jumpstart, Clue Finders incorporates tailored minigames to each grade. However, these games are a lot more conceptually interesting, like getting a spelling test from Thoth, Egyptian god of wisdom, repairing circuits to scavenge for C4 artifacts, or being given 8 hours to stop a polluting city, otherwise a plant empire will destroy it.
There's a green joke in there somewhere. Too easy.
Like Humongous Entertainment, these games were chock full of memorable characters. I remember them not doing only cool stuff, but silly stuff as well.
I swallowed my mint.
Hey, that was the pinnacle of humor when I was 9.
Clue Finders were the ultimate in educational entertainment. Combining good characters, interesting plot lines, fun minigames, and good education, there is no better choice for number 1.
I'm the Fiery Joker, and me make learning gooder.
Cut!
Throttle open, thrusters on, Chrono Scammer gets a strong pack, extra socks, and we'll all beat the clock from the Stone Age to Middle Age to